Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, we like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Mashiach Malak Yahushai. That is to say, Yahweh, being named the Heavenly Father, who the world will call God, and Yahweh Shai, being named his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Brother Kesadi from W. Fred Jersey, Philly. And as you see on the screen, you know, these plagues and pestilences is coming back in the earth at a massive level. These plagues and pestilences are coming back in the earth on a massive, right? Coming back on the earth on a massive level. As you see right now, we got a few things pulled up, and we're going to touch on, we're going to touch on them and break them down and give you the proper understanding of exactly what's taking place. Starting first things first with the New York Post, as you see, there's something known as Frankenstein rabbits, right? This is reported on August 13th, but it kind of popped up. We looked into it, and we also came across these squirrels as well as these same pestilences going down and taking place with the deer. Right, so it says Frankenstein rabbits with horrifying spikes growing from their heads are invading the U.S. and experts warn to stay away. And I mean, you don't need to be an expert to know to stay away from something like that. I mean, you didn't need to go to school to Harvard to get a PhD to understand if you see something looking like that popping up out the woods. I mean, well, brother, like, why are you still right there? I mean, that looks crazy. But this is the new reality and what the time you living in, right? Where these squirrels is just out here living just defiled, right? I mean, these things, damn, Esau. And yeah, we're going to blame Esau because he's ruling this world right now. And this is what he's done to these animals. Whatever diseases they cooking up and conjuring. It says squirrels covered in oozing, pus-filled sores have been spotted across America and Canada. And like we mentioned, they also got these deers. And we want to go into each, break it down a little bit, right? But the Most High, he said that he's going to bring these plagues and pestilences. That's the days you're living in, right? Let me hold this real quick. Let's go to Revelation, chapter 6. This is the days that we're living in right now. You're living in the days, right, of famine, right? You living in the day, let's get it. This Revelation chapter 6 and verse 7. And when they had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Right, hell being a grave, right? So that's the days you're living in. You're seeing a lot of death taking place, maybe your loved ones, family members, friends, so on and so forth. You're seeing these nations, they're getting destroyed. Hey, it's only going to turn up even more, right? It says, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. So, and we're gonna dive into it. There's reports that the bubonic plague that wiped out millions of millions in Europe is back on the earth. And not just back on the earth, but actually there's reported cases in California, right? The bubonic plague, which is known as the Black Death. Literally known as the Black Death. Guess what? It's in the United States right now. So the Most High, he surely makes good on his promise. If he says something is going to happen, surely it's going to happen. Let's go to Lamentation chapter 3 and verse number 38. It says, I started 37. Who is he that saith, and it cometh to pass, when Yahweh commanded it not? Right, so man can't say there's going to be peace, there's going to be safety, there's going to be serenity, everything's going to be good. And the Lord didn't say that was going to happen. And in fact, the Lord said the complete opposite. This is the days of death. And you're living in a time of death. You're living in a time of mourning. You're living in a time of affliction. You're living in a time of plagues and pestilences. Right? Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good. So we know that's how the Most High gets down. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse number 5. it says before him, right? Who's the him? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Before Yahushua returns on the earth, it says before him went the pestilence and burning coals went forth at his feet. So Yahushua Bashem Yahushua is going to continue to send these plagues and pestilences in the earth to consume man and even consume the beast. Right? These animals, they got to get it too. And why is that? It's because this earth is defiled. The earth is defiled right now. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore had the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. So that has to happen, right? So back to this. This is New York Post. Frankenstein rabbits with horrifying spikes growing from their heads are invading the U.S. It's an invasion, they're saying, right? Checking this out. It's not just a bad hair day. Somebody really thought of that line, too. He must have thought it was funny, so he made it the first line on the article. It says a rapidly spreading virus is causing cottontail rabbits to grow black, tentacle-like growths out of their heads, prompting warnings to steer clear of the mutated animals. That kind of make you itch. Now, what's going to happen if some other predator comes over and eats that rabbit? And then the flies and the ticks, they start eating from that rabbit, that dead carcass, and then they fly over and they land on somebody's food. And then after that, it kind of spreads to man. It's very easy for it to spread to man. Or a bird swoops down, lands on this rabbit, does what it does. Somehow, some way, a fly, comes in contact with one of these parties, whether the bird or the carcass, and guess what? It gets over to man. When you start to see man with these things growing out their head, well, you know where it came from. Right? From the Most High. The Most High caused it to happen. And he's using these rabbits to bring this on the earth, one of these plagues. The so-called Franken bunnies have been spotted multiple times in Fort Collins, Colorado. It says resident Susan Mansfield told 9 News she saw a rabbit with what looked like black quills or black toothpicks sticking out all around his or her mouth. Man, oh man. Look at that. Damn. I mean, the rabbit don't really deserve that, but all praise to Yahweh Shem Yashai. If the Lord thought it's what the rabbit needs, hey, that's what it is. Right? That's what it is. And we know this is again a byproduct of the so-called white man ruling this society right now. And not just him, all these filthy nations. Taking the rabbits, they doing things with the rabbits. Hey, there's people that eat rabbits. Having bunny soup and doing things of that nature. It's wickedness. So the Most High, he's going to start to, again, bring these. It's not just these so-called rabbits. And the squirrels too. Jammed up, defiled. Now, we can't eat any of these anyway. But the deer, that's a different story, right? Now you're seeing, it's kind of making me itch, right? Right? You see that? It says mutant deer with horrifying flesh bubbles. A flesh bubble. Spotted in multiple U.S. states as fears of an outbreak grip the nation. How did all this just pop up? Literally, right? Out of nowhere. Right? The Most High did this. Don't you see what's happening? These prophecies is being turned up. Don't just think, and the brother says it, countless times, prophecies aren't just nuclear explosions or missiles hitting cities. Prophecy's going on every which way all around you. Whether you knew this or not, this is prophecy right here that you're seeing on the screen. How do we know that? Let's get a precept. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah 21. So the Lord said, he said this, Jeremiah 21:6, and I will smite the inhabitants of the city, both man and beast. They shall die of a great pestilence. So there's pestilence that must take place, not just in times old upon those that lived in Jerusalem, our forefathers, but also upon man and beast today. Man eats deer, right? That's venison, right? But guess what? Soon your food is going to be jammed up and contaminated. Because what will happen once again if these diseases spread to other animals? Things that's lawful for you to eat, like chicken or turkey or, bison or lamb or goat, or, cows. And they're going to have to, they already making plans. And listen, it very well could have been that the Lord used the so-called heathen, right, to spread these diseases so that you can eat the fake lab-grown meat that they're creating right now. But they go on their computer, they type in, I want steak, and then it damn starts printing out steak from the 3D printer. And they're using this fake blood. They got a whole, if you don't know about that, check that out. They've been doing that for years now. It started over in so-called Israel. These Amalekites, Jewish men are doing that. So-called scientists. It says deer across the U.S. have been spotted with tumor-like growths hanging off their bodies, joining rabbits and squirrels as animals showing signs of widespread disease. From the Northeast to the Pacific Northeast, or it's like Northwest, pictures on social media continue to document cases of strange bubbles growing all over local deer, from their faces to their legs. Over the last 2 months, people have photographed deformed deer in New York, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Wildlife officials, and look how spread that is. Now, New York and Pennsylvania, they're right near each other. But Wisconsin, that's on the other part of America. That deer then traveled from New York and swooped through to Pennsylvania and found his way over to Wisconsin. Now, this is a difference. It's showing you in the last few months, this is different deer that's just popping up with these diseases. That deer didn't travel that far. If you thought that deer traveled that far, I don't know what to tell you. Bambi didn't go from New York and Pennsylvania over to Wisconsin. The Lord put these plagues on them in various different states. And we see in proof the Lord's putting them demons on these things, right? And these diseases on the rabbits and the squirrels as well. You might wake up tomorrow, like I said, a cow might have this. And what are you going to do then? You're going to make a decision when you go to the next supermarket, right? Things about to start going down. It says wildlife officials have already identified the condition as deer cutaneous fibroma, right? Better known as deer warts. The condition is due to a virus transmitted between deer in all parts of the U.S., and experts have warned that it's spreading this summer. The virus mainly spreads through disease-carrying insects like mosquitoes and ticks. So what is that telling you? It just told you. The mosquitoes and ticks, they have these diseases, and they're carrying them, and they're spreading them. What would happen if they, again, a damn mosquito were to bite you, or a tick land on the back of your neck, and you smack it, you thought you turned to Spider-Man, but no, brother, now you got this growing out of you. It says, which pass on the blood of infected deer to healthy animals nearby. See that? That's man. All praise to the Most High. It says, since these potentially deadly pests breed and multiply in warmer weather, Americans should expect to see more cases of the condition whereby deer may live. And then it goes on, right? And then it goes on. So you can check the rest of this out. You can check the rest of this out. Right? But nevertheless, right? It's taking place right now. This is the reality you got to live with. Now, it's not it. It's not the end all be all. Might have just saved the best for last. Right? If you have ears to hear. The Black Death. It says a California resident has tested positive for the plague. What is the plague that they're talking about? We'll show you. They don't even want to call. They didn't want to say the bubonic plague. They just saying plague, the plague. Health officials believe they caught the disease from being bitten by an infected flea while camping. Is this a coincidence? First it was these rabbits. Then it was a squirrel. Then it was the deer. And now you're seeing the so-called plague. Let's check this out. Right? Let's check this thing out. So let's look up the plague, right? Look up the plague. Right? And the Most High has a plethora of precepts on the plague, right? But let's get this real quick. Let's look up the plague. 2 days ago. NBC News. It's the same one, actually. It says California resident catches the plague likely from infected flea at Lake Tahoe. Now, I want to go back, though. It's not what I wanted. We'll come back to that. So it says the plague is an infectious disease caused by, and we won't even try to pronounce that, bacterium, and you see the rest right there. Symptoms include fever, weakness, and headache. Usually this begins 1 to 7 days after exposure. There are 3 forms of plague, each affecting a different part of the body and causing associated symptoms. Pneumonic plague infects the lungs, causing shortness of breath, coughing, and chest pain. Bubonic plague affects the lymph nodes, making them swell, and septicemic plague infects the blood and can cause tissues to turn black and die. Wow. 1 to 7 days after exposure. So look at the bubonic plague, right? One of the 3 types of the plague caused by the bacterium, continuing on, right? 1 to 7 days after exposure to the bacteria, flu-like symptoms develop. These symptoms include fever, headaches, and vomiting. Continuing on. It says, man, oh man. It says occasionally swollen lymph nodes, known as buboes, may break open. And that's what it's talking about. See, is this a coincidence, though? That's what I want to kind of sound an alarm, because obviously it's not. Let's jump down. It says bubonic plague is mainly spread by infected fleas from small animals. It may also result from exposure to the blood, to the body fluids from a dead, plagued, infected animal. Mammals such as rabbits, we just checked those out, right? Hares, and some cat species are susceptible to bubonic plague and typically die upon contraction. And bubonic form of plague, the bacteria enter through the skin through a flea bite and travel via the lymphatic vessels to a lymph node, causing it to swell. So you're seeing this take place, right, throughout the earth right now, right? They're sounding the alarms. They're sounding the alarms. The plague is back. The plague is back. right? The plague is back. We can check out this article now. Actually, kind of had that thing pulled up a little bit. Oh yeah, I had it over here. So it says a resident in South Lake Tahoe, California, has tested positive for plague. According to local health officials, the person is believed to have been bitten by an infected flea while camping. So this is the reality that you're living in. You're living in a time when the Most High bringing forth these plagues back on the earth. Right? And like we showed you, it's 1,000 plethora of precepts of the Most High doing so. Right? But Most High willing, we was edified. And of course, we want to give our honor and our glory to Yahweh by Hashem Mashakum like Yahushai. Lord willing, keep watching these last days. Lord willing, you stay girded. You fight against these plagues, these pestilences, these demons. Right? And keep your head on a swivel. With that, Kwame Shirala, Shalom.